Here's why the United States should stop providing federal student loans. Federal student loans are handed out without any regard for whether the person receiving them will ever be able to pay them back. In virtually no other area of finance does someone get to borrow tens of thousands of dollars without any real evaluation of their ability to repay. But that's exactly what the federal student loan system does. It doesn't matter what your major is or whether your field leads to a viable career. You'll get the money either way. If a private bank operated like this, its risk officer would be fired and the bank would collapse. But the federal government just transfers the losses to taxpayers. The consequences are predictable. Students take on massive debt to pursue degrees that offer little to no return on investment. When they struggle to pay the debt back, as many do, the taxpayers eat the cost for the government's reckless lending. When someone defaults on their federal student loans, the taxpayers are left covering the costs. Keep in mind that most taxpayers don't even have a bachelor's degree, and many didn't go to college at all. Yet they're forced to pay for someone else's bad investment. A 20-year-old electrician who chose to enter the workforce responsibly is now paying the tuition of someone who majored in gender studies and can't find a job to repay the loan. This is obviously not fair. When Congress can hand out bad loans and socialize the losses to taxpayers, they're much less likely to take caution in who they're loaning money to, since the losses are split among all taxpayers. A private bank would never operate like this, and if they did, they would go bankrupt almost immediately. Some argue that if the government steps back, student loans will disappear, but this isn't true, as private loans would still exist, but they'd be much smarter. Banks don't lend money for fantasy. They'd ask real questions. What's your major? What's your earning potential? What's the graduation rate at that school? They evaluate risk, and they charge interest rates that reflect it. This isn't cruelty, it's sanity. It's how responsible lending works, and in the long run, it would improve higher education. If students know they can't borrow freely for anything, they'll choose their schools and majors more carefully. Colleges would be forced to cut costs, improve value, and compete for students on the basis of outcomes, not amenities. Another problem with federal student loans is Stafford subsidized loans, which make up about 18% of federal student loan debt. These loans charge students no interest while they're in school. Who pays that interest? Taxpayers. Once again, the blue-collar worker who never stepped foot on a college campus is now paying part of the interest for someone else's tuition. This means that even in the instances of student loans that are repaid, if the loan was Stafford subsidized, the taxpayers still had to pay for some of the interest on the loan. It is worth keeping in mind that there is nothing compassionate about allowing young people to take on life-altering debt with little chance of paying it back. And there's nothing noble about forcing working-class taxpayers to subsidize a bloated and overpriced higher education system. Real compassion means telling people the truth. Not every degree is worth it. Not every school deserves your money. Not every student should go to college, and not every young adult deserves a student loan.